Hello and welcome back to our Bandai Star Destroyer build. This is part 2, and this was the painting part, and I've done the base coat on here now, so as you can see that's gone on really nice. It's really not much different to the actual color of the plastic, but there's a slight shade darker. So I'm happy with the way it went on though. It went on really, really nice. So they're all painted up. That's all done there too. See all the detail in that. I'm glad I did these these 3 parts all separate, because if they were put together, they'd be very difficult to get in the bottom there and with an airbrush. So that's all done. This is all done. See all the detail in that. Now I've sprayed this about two hours ago. And I'm just checking on what the next stage will be, which is going to be the tedious part, which is pretty much going to start on the Aztec markings. So you can see I'm just testing a few pieces here of masking tape. So basically, you can see the shapes. I have to go over the whole structure, randomly masking off the Aztec shapes that I want to keep this color. That's on the top, and then on the bottom, which is even bigger, there's even more to do, detail in there. This is going to take quite a long time, because when I've got enough coverage of the markings I want, including on here as well, then I will spray the next coat, which is, let me just go check what color I decided that to be. Okay, so it's going to be the Tamiya Sky Grey XF19. That's the one I've chosen, and it's a slight shade darker. Well, actually, it's a bit darker than what's on there now, so they'll show through real nicely. Once that coat goes on, pretty much over all of this. Now I won't have to do it on these parts because these are the engine area. These will just get the final base coat. Then I'll be taping again some more of the Aztec markings that I want to keep this color, this grey color. Before then, I'll go over with the final white coat, which I haven't got exactly which white coat I'm going to get. I'd like to use a type of insignia white, but I don't know if Tamiya make that in the bottles. I'll have to look into that, but that's a while away. So the idea with I'll bring the camera down a bit closer so we can have another closer look. Hang on a second. Okay, that's better. So the idea is I've got some, it's called frog tape. And what I'll do is I'll stick some down on the cutting mat, and then I'll come along with my blade and just cut off strips roughly the width of these on here, and then I'll cut off the other direction, and then I'll slowly peel off each piece and place it on and basically work over the whole structure. So this will take quite a bit of time, and but you know, it'll be worth it in the end, I'm sure. I hope. All right, so I'll get on with this, and we'll come back the next time in a second to you and see if I've managed to get all of this done that I want to have kept at this color. All right, so I might be back tomorrow in my time, but to you, it'll be about 2.5 seconds. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So it didn't take as long as I thought because I didn't realize that I didn't need to do as much as I thought I had to do. So I've masked up all the little spots that I want to stay the color that we're at now. They're all done on that top and all on the bottom. And just in case I can't find them because I've painted over it, I took photos so I can see where they are in case I miss taking off some of the masking tape. There's those spots. And this is only the first layer. There's going to be another layer, possibly another layer after that, to create these Aztec markings. I don't have to paint the exhausts or any of these because they only need the base coat now, the final coat that I'm going to use, which I haven't decided what it'll be yet. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And it depends on what coat is the coat that's going to be under the final coat, if you know what I mean, because that will have an effect on that final shade on the base coat when I'm finished. You know what I mean? So it's like if I have a dark coat under the white I'm putting on top, then that white is not going to be really as white as if there was a white coat under that white. So whatever the coat is I have on here before my final coat, I'm going to make sure I have it on here as well, just so that it's all going to blend in and it's not going to go, oh, and you look at the back and you go, hang on, that's a different color to the rest of the ship. I want the whole thing to blend in. So I'm going to go paint these now because this will be a proper coat because this is just a base coat primer on here. This will be the Sky Grey XF19. This will be an overnight dry before I start masking up my little spots again to create that particular grey markings. All right, back shortly and we'll have a look at the difference with the grey coat on top. Okay, cheers. Okay, welcome back again, and you can see here I've got our coat of sky grey covering, and it's come up really nice. So what I'm going to do with this will be to put the masking tape back onto it, and I've only done this an hour ago, so this is going to leave this to dry overnight, and with the masking tape up some more of the Aztec on this. Is that looking pretty good there too? And what I'll be able to do, I'm glad I did photograph where I put the masking tape because some of it's quite hard to see. So yeah, so the next thing will be after the masking that up, which I'll do tomorrow morning, is put the final base coat of white. Now I don't want to put a straight white coat across it, so I want just like a bit of an off-white, so I'll be adding some grey to it, just a little bit, just to give it an off-white. Problem is that all the hobby shops I've tried to contact have no Tamiya white paint, and I have some, but nowhere near enough. And I don't want to get halfway through spraying and run out of paint. So I'm going to have a good look around tomorrow. I may have to go a different brand. Comes to that. Otherwise, I'll just show you 1 second. So I do have some SMS acrylic lacquer, premium white, and some insignia white, and there is, probably can't tell here, but there is a slight difference. So this insignia white is just a slightly bit darker. It's probably the exact white that I do want to have, but it is an acrylic lacquer, and I've had problems painting with this before, and I could even mix the two together. That would probably be all right. And I do have some grays I could add, so I could pretty much get a white looking like an insignia white. That'll be the last resort. I'd much rather stick with Tamiya and not use this lacquer, but if I have to, I will. But tomorrow I'll find out, and I'll see if I can get hold of some white Tamiya paint, or Mr. Hobby paint would work as well. Either of those. Otherwise, I've got that as backup, so either way it'll be fine. All right, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I managed to get some more paint needed. So they didn't have any Tamiya paint, but for the white that I'm looking for. But there is Mr. Hobby white, and it's actually called off-white, which is just convenient. And I don't know, the camera won't pick up the colors too well, but this one is slightly, well, not as white as a normal white. So I'm happy with this. So this is what I'm going to use. I've got all of the taped up areas over the sky grey completed, and it's ready for the final off-white color. Now this is a gloss coat, which won't matter because I'll just use a flat clear coat at the end. I think that should cut back down on the shine a little. Otherwise, if it comes up a little bit too glossy, I might just do a light cover with a white that I will have enough for, just to take that shine off. All right, so I'll be back in a sec and we'll see what it looks like all painted up. Cheers. Hello and welcome back. So I put this coat on about an hour and a half ago, and this is the final base coat, which ended up being the off-white by Mr. Hobby. Now, when I first started putting it on, it looked a bit too dark. Wasn't enough white. So what I did was I used some of my Tamiya XF2 flat white, because I had a little bit left, and I just mixed it in and then thinned it all together, so I lightened it up just a little bit. And anyway, this is the end result, and I'm really happy with it. So it's come up a beautiful coverage, went on so nicely. I probably used about 50-50 with a thinner, X20A Tamiya thinner I used, and it's gone on really nice. Even this here, that's all really nice too. So the next step on this will be taking all of the little bits of masking tape off to reveal all the Aztec covering on here. But like I said, I've only done this like an hour and a half ago, so there's a good thick layer on there, so I'm not going to touch this until probably tonight. I'll come along and I'll start peeling off all these little bits of tape, and we'll have a look at it. Then I need to do a clear coat before I do any panel line work. So I've got a flat clear, which is also a Mr. Hobby, and I'll be giving that a coat, and that will take a full day to dry properly. And then after that, I'll be able to start doing experimenting with just a little bit of panel wash and getting some of the detail just to pop up a little bit more, but not too much. But we'll see. I haven't decided on how I'm going to go about it yet, but I'm even thinking of spraying it on a light coverage of the dark panel wash just to see how it goes. But anyway, that'll be a while. So I'll let this dry, come back tonight and take off all the tape and have a look at that Aztec and see what it's looking like before we give it a coat of clear. All right, back shortly. Oh, well, welcome back. I thought I'd start recording. I'm slowly taking all the masking tape off. As you can see, I've done this one. Come up really good, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. It's just about the right coverage. Just here. Quite satisfying, actually, just picking off all this tape and watching this thing materialize in front of me. So what I'll do is, because some of the contrasts are quite strong, I'll give a light grey across everything just to blend in, just to blend it all in a little bit. It should be pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Yeah, so I'll continue on and show you how they look when they're done. I should be able to, well, I need to do the clear coats on all these yet, so that'll be tomorrow morning. I'll do the clear coat, and looking forward to working on the engines and thrusters and just getting a bit of grey in there and making these stand out a little bit, and finally put this thing together. All right, so I will continue with my masking peeling, and we'll come back and have a look when we're done. Cheers. Hello, welcome back. Okay, so it's the next day gone by. First thing this morning, I gave these a clear coat, and they've come up really good. So I'm going to just let them have the whole day, because I put a nice decent coat of clear on these. So I'm just going to let them dry completely for the whole day, and then tomorrow pretty much put all these parts together, and we'll start looking at doing some weathering and bits and pieces on it. I thought I'd just give you a quick update on where we're at, and we'll come back in a second and we'll put this together and see what it looks like. I've also, because I was going to put these in as well, just painted the tips of these blue so that they do look a little bit lit up, I guess. There's no lights in this model, so, but I'll put them in. They'll be inside the center of the engine. Okay, back shortly. Hello, welcome back again, and we've got everything put together now. There it is. All right, looking good. And looking a bit clean. So my next thing will be to use a bit of panel line and some weathering stuff to put some exhaust marks on these thrusters, to just accentuate the panel lines with some panel line. I've got a choice of using either the Tamiya accent color black, or I've got a multi-black, which is not quite as black, but still black. There's also a dark brown wash, but I don't think that'll be needed. But I'm just going to just touch up, just make these little bits here stand out a little bit more. Just go across here, just touch up some of these and just see if I can bring out some of those a little bit more detail. I'm not going to go around and do on the top and the bottom of all these panel lines. I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm happy with the way that looks. Plus I don't want to change the color by putting a wash over or anything. I will be going along these edges in here a little bit just to get them to pop a bit more. But this whole model is dependent on the lighting, as in the external lighting, and where you're going to have it displayed to, not only the color it looks like, but how much detail is going to show up and how much you're going to see. But I'll experiment around. I'll touch little bits here and there and see how much I can make things stand out a little bit more than they are. And yeah, we'll come back just after I've done. I'll probably start on the rear section here and these thrusters, and get something happening there. Even I can get a metal look happen around some of the outside areas here, metallic, just a fraction. We'll get that on. All right, we'll be back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I'll start putting on a bit of this black panel line from Tamiya. I also did the outside of the thrusters there, metallic. Well, it's actually XF16 flat aluminium. That's come up all right. And then I started highlighted the detail inside those last thrusters so you can see the lines. I'll get you to see in there, lines going down into them. And I've also started just touching this lightly so it doesn't pull anywhere. So it just creates a bit of depth in all the little pieces on here. And they've come up quite well. They probably can't tell because of how light this is. And I should have really got a before and after shot. Same along with the trench in here. Just touching in there, just bringing out, making things pop just a little bit more than if I hadn't put it on there. And I'm finding that the more I use this, the more areas I want to put it. So whereas originally I was not going to really do much at all in there, I've ended up going all the way around the trench and darkening it up a little bit. I did up here on this area in the top here. Bring that look. So I did that. I made that a little bit darker with a bit of panel wash. See in there. And now I'm thinking, well, I'll do the sides. I'll do under these here at the top. And then I'll start working on the edge of here. I'll end up putting the stuff everywhere. I did these on there, the 4 of those on each side. And you can see they pop out a little bit more. And so I'm going to do the same with all this around here. I still don't want to touch the main deck areas. I'm not going to touch them. I think they're fine as they are. But the other structures and anything built off it, definitely panel liner. Now, for the thrusters, I was thinking of creating some dirt, or not dirt, but soot and stuff. But then, this is in space. It's not going to have anything like that, There may be some burn marks, I'm assuming. So I'll shade a little bit. But otherwise, really, most of this is going to be quite clean. So I'm going to keep going around with the panel wash. That's all I'm really going to use on this. And then I'm going to get some photographs and we'll see how it turns out, because by then it should be finished. Okay, so back shortly. Okay, welcome back, and we're finished. Here it is, complete. Yeah, done all the panel line wash I want to do. I did get a little bit of weathering master soot from Tamiya and did a little bit of work around the engine and the thrusters. But let's have a look. You can see. So I'm happy with it. It's come up quite good. Sorry if this light's a bit bright. It's hard. I'm going to put some photos up at the end, so stay tuned through the end and see some of the photographs I took. But I've definitely made the trench along the side a little bit darker, and everything stands out and pops out a little bit as we go over and underneath. Loading bay under there. I've done a little bit of panel wash again to make that pop a little bit. No panel wash on any of the surface. I've left that as is. I don't want to darken it more than it is. And yeah, there she is. And of course the stand with our little fellas there in comparison to the size. Blockade Runner and the Millennium Falcon. And yeah, so this will take pride of place next to my X-Wing. And so I hope you enjoyed the build of the Star Destroyer by Bandai. I enjoyed it, that's for sure. It all went together quite well. There was a couple of little bits I put a bit of glue around where the thrusters were, just to secure that rear section in. But other than that, everything's clipped together quite good. I can understand problems people have with the lighted model, the light gaps. You would literally have to glue everything on, I think, just to fill the make sure the gaps are filled where you don't want the light coming through. Because, you know, there are small gaps that you can't avoid. But yeah, there we go. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Hit the notifications tab so you get notified of when my videos upload. If you're just coming into the video now, go back through the playlist and have a look at the unboxing of this so you can see the kit as we started. And if you have any comments down below, if you have any questions about the build, maybe you're planning to build this one, you want to ask a question, please put it down in the comments. Thoughts and opinions are welcome. Yeah, all good. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.